We submitted to the court an order asking that John Marmot be appointed at no cost to the state.
More than a month into the trial, a third lawyer joins the team for accused killer Margaret Rudin.
This is News 3 at noon with Sue Manteris and Scott Haws.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chera Kimiko in for Sue Manteris. A third top-level defense lawyer is joining the team of attorneys for Margaret Rudin.
That's exactly right. First, it was Tom Pitaro, now John Marmot. Two names many associate with the Binion murder trial are now heading up the defense team for accused killer Margaret Rudin. Kim Capozzo joins us live from the Clark County Courthouse. And Kim, why another attorney and why John Marmot?
Well, why John Marmot? That's easy. He's an all-star defense attorney. Why another attorney? Because more bodies means more people working on this case. Initially, Michael Amador tried to take it on all by himself. The result, he wasn't prepared for trial.
That's when this man stepped in. The court appointed Tom Pitaro to help with the defense, so they're picking up the tab for his duties. But apparently Pitaro wasn't enough to get the defense back on track. And that's where this man comes in. Well-known defense attorney John Marmot. He was asked to join the defense as a favor to longtime friend and colleague Tom Pitaro. Pitaro wants Marmot to serve as a specialist, where he's expected to focus on why Margaret Rudin ran from the law years after her husband's murder. This is obviously great news for Margaret Rudin, but prosecutors aren't thrilled.
Mr. Marmot's an individual who's been on the TV almost every day since this trial started, apparently as some kind of a neutral commentator on events here. And now for him to jump into the case on one side, I think is somewhat unseemly in light of the position that he's had at least most recently.
And also joining us now live, speak of the devil, is John Marmot himself. They've just broken for lunch, and I said in the story that you're doing this as a favor to Tom Pitaro, a longtime friend and colleague, but you also have great feelings about this case.
Well, I started with the case pre-indictment, pre-litigation with Margaret, and she consulted with me about various issues. So it seems almost right to pick up once again.
And Chris Owens mentioned in there some of his concerns that your name are on some of the pieces of evidence they're now using, your name on some calendars that they've collected from a dumpster. What's that all about?
Well, I'm sure that was from the initial stages when Margaret contacted me, and I'm sure it's innocuous at best, and I was the attorney then. And much like in many cases, we represent people pre-indictment, pre-arrest, and there are discussions with people, and I'm sure there's note-taking, so I don't think it has any other meaning than just what it is.
What can we expect your role to be there?
My role is just to assist the defense team, Mr. Amador, Mr. Pitaro. I've been working with Tom for 25 years since we won our first capital murder case. We secured an acquittal, and that was back in the early 80s. And we work real well together. So it's very easy for us to coexist and funnel information back and forth and do the work.
Rarely does Judge Joseph Bonaventure give out kudos. He gave them to you this morning for taking this on pro bono. That's with my friendship with Mr. Pitaro. You're asked and you respond. During the Sandy Murphy case, I asked Tom to help me out during the presentation of medical evidence, and he's right there. Whether it be 2 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, it doesn't make any difference. He's there, and I'm going to be there for him. Well, however you look at it, it's an all-star defense team. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, he's also done several legal issues with us on the set there with Jim and Nina and Beth and Kendall, and won't be doing that anymore, but we will see him there at the desk with Margaret Rudin, Tom Pitaro, and Michael Amador. Reporting live, I'm Kim Capozzo. Scott, back to you.
All right, Kim, and we do thank him for his help here in the studio. We will have continuing coverage on this surprising murder mystery trial as it unfolds. Stay right here on News 3 for the latest on the Margaret Rudin murder trial. We will have the latest tonight on First News 3 at 4.
It has been a long road since Bill Bano was fired back in December from the UNLV basketball program.
Yeah, 4 months of uncertainty and rumors all over the place. Finally, today, those rumors are put to rest as UNLV will name a new basketball coach to lead the Runnin' Rebels, and Rick Strasser joins us here in the studio. This is really a name that just kind of surfaced the last couple of days.
That's right. It almost seemed like a trickle-down theory. Who'd be left at the end who would finally say yes to the Runnin' Rebels? Well, we finally have one. Ever since Bill Bano was fired, there have been rumors. First, Rick Pitino. After a long courting, he said no. Then Rick Majerus, no. Then Gary Williams, no. Henry Bibby, Larry Eustace, Gene Cady, no, no, no. Charlie Spoonhour, yes. We finally have a new Runnin' Rebel coach. Former St. Louis Billikens coach and Southwest Missouri State coach Charlie Spoonhour is the 10th coach of the Runnin' Rebels. He led Southwest Missouri State to the NCAA tournament throughout the 80s before going to St. Louis in 1992, becoming an icon there. He even has his own restaurant downtown. What Spoonhour brings to UNLV is experience, knowledge, the know-how to win, and the big question is the ability to recruit from the West, however, a hotbed that UNLV needs to tap into. So what do we expect from the Spoon? Well, he's 61 years old. Overall record, very impressive, 319 and 171 in his years at those two Missouri schools. He's been to the Big Dance 8 times. He's only won 3 games in the Big Dance in those times. He moved to the second round 1 year with the Billikens. He did win National Coach of the Year by the Sports Writers back in 1994. There will be a press conference at 2 o'clock over at the Thomas & Mack Center to make the official announcement of Coach Charlie Spoonhour, head coach of the Runnin' Rebels. We'll have that for you at 5 and 6. Plus, what does that mean for Max Good? There's been a lot of questions, and they just finally gave him an interview this past week. He's kind of been doing his duty, saying he's going to fulfill his contract as the head coach of the Runnin' Rebels. As they were continuing to look for other candidates and other coaches, he continually heard names, continually had questions from us, about what he was going to do. But the question remains, is he going to remain at UNLV, try to be an assistant under Spoonhour, or will he move on to another coach? Yeah, does he choose to leave, though? He did very well with UNLV in the time he was there, and especially in the situation, pretty good on the resume in terms of going to another school. He did well with the time that he had and with all the distractions that he had, but he was very loyal to Bill Bano, and that never went over well with the administration there because he was fired and he was no longer the coach. We'll have to see what happens, Rick. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Today's announcement comes after more than 3 months of searching for a head coach.
This all began back on December 12th. That's when UNLV fired Coach Bill Bano, who had been in charge of the basketball program since March of 1995. Then a month later, Rick Pitino resigned as head coach of the Boston Celtics, and it was then rumored he would take over the Runnin' Rebel program.
A few weeks after he quit in Boston, things looked really good as Pitino's wife makes a trip out to Las Vegas to check out schools and housing. But on March 5th, Slick Rick pulls a fast one and changes his focus toward Louisville men's basketball program and says UNLV is not the place for him to coach.
Yeah, over the next 3 weeks, a handful of other coaches, of course. Rick just went through the long list of coaches that turned down chances to interview for the job. But again, today, UNLV is expected to name Charlie Spoonhour the new head coach of the men's basketball program.
We will have a lot more on the 2 p.m. news conference, naming him coach later today on News 3 at 5 and 6. And we will have continuing coverage on what happens on today's news conference, as we just told you at 5 and 6. On to other news today. One man is dead, while another is in serious trouble this noon following a wreck on the county's south side. Around 7 o'clock this morning, a tractor trailer and a Toyota Supra hit head-on at the Blue Diamond Road and Industrial intersection. Investigators say both drivers blew the red signal light on Blue Diamond as the driver of the Toyota tried to make a left turn into the parking lot of the Silverton Hotel and Casino. That is a mess. You can look at the car on your screen. The driver of the semi was not injured, but now faces charges of failure to yield to a traffic device, and he could even be charged with involuntary manslaughter. The Nevada Highway Patrol says this is an extremely dangerous intersection that has been the scene for a lot of traffic deaths. A bike ride turns deadly for a 12-year-old Valley boy. Police say he was crossing the street while a do not walk sign was flashing. It happened around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon at the intersection of Charleston and Hinson Street. You can see where that is on this map. Witnesses say they saw Billy Wagner crossing the street against the light. 58-year-old Irene Romero did not see the boy and was unable to stop her car in time and hit Wagner. He was taken to UMC, where he later died. No charges have been filed against Romero as officers continue their investigation. This accident makes it the 20th traffic-related death this year. You should feel safe at your home, but today investigators need your help finding a man suspected of shooting and killing his roommate. Police say 30-year-old JASONRAEDER shot and killed 18-year-old Jeffrey Bolte at their home near Oakey and Eastern on Monday. Rader is about 5 feet 8 inches tall. He has a shaved head and a number of tattoos. If you have any information about this crime, please call Secret Witness. That is at the bottom of your screen at 385-5555.
A former Little League coach has been found guilty of sexual misconduct with a minor. Garen Pearson, right here in the sweater, was accused of sexually assaulting 7 boys, 4 of whom played on his Little League team that he once coached. Prosecutors say some of the boys were as young as 10 years old. The defense tried to say the boys were willing participants, but the jury didn't buy it. The boys' family members say they are somewhat relieved.
Nothing will ever be fair for what we had to suffer and what we go through. Just I know people out there have kids. How would you feel if someone did that to your kid or your little brother?
Pearson is facing life in prison. His sentencing is scheduled for May 25th. Another case of sexual misconduct is being handed over to district court. This time it's a Clark County school teacher accused of sexual misconduct. Former Burkholder Middle School teacher Newell Levitt was indicted a week ago. He is accused of raping a 15-year-old student.
Wow, it's fairly nice outside. If you've been outside, so nice to have it.
It is. You definitely know that spring is here. It's in the air.
Yeah, the allergies are also acting up.
Allergies, of course, with the wind. John Fredericks has an outlook for us. Johnny?
Boy, we give Kimiko the gig for today. She's already over there whining.
Sorry.
We love you, Chera. Let's jump outside where right now it is beautiful. Look at that. 79 degrees under mostly sunny skies, 16% humidity, winds variable at 6. Now, the winds have been rather brisk depending upon where you are across the valley, particularly on the north side. And they actually have been much stronger out of McCarran the last couple of hours. So I expect that variable at 6 just to be really notwithstanding in most cases and most areas. A locally breezy day continues to be in the forecast. We'll talk more about that. We'll have the weekend outlook all coming up as well. Chera, Scott?
All right, Johnny, thank you. How much are you being charged to use your ATM? A lot of people don't even know, but coming up, if your drive-through to do your banking is costing you a lot, it will tell you why your ATM fees may be so high.
And how would you like to work for a company with the goal of keeping employees healthy and fit? It may seem like a dream, but it's actually happening. We'll show you where.
People are getting killed all the time, and we've known of 4 people already on this beltway since it's opened.
Could the Valley's new way of getting around town be deadly? Find out how police plan to put it to the accidents, or rather take care of all of the accidents on the new beltway. That's later on News 3 at noon, where news comes first.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is News 3 at noon.
Welcome back. How would you handle the ups and downs of Wall Street? Well, if you're a corporate giant, the answer would probably include layoffs and plant closures. Swedish telecom giant Ericsson claims layoffs are the only way to recover from the plummeting stock values. The company will lay off 2,100 workers in Sweden and will close 2 plants in Britain. Some of those layoffs went into effect yesterday, and more layoffs are expected sometime next month. The cost of using an automatic teller machine is going up again. A new survey shows banks charge an average of $1.50 to use their ATM. That's 10 cents more than just 2 years ago. The biggest increase is in the cost of using another bank's ATM. In the last 5 years, the cost of using another bank's ATM has tripled in price to a national average of almost $3. Consumer groups say many big banks have also started imposing something they call an annual ATM card rental fee.
It may seem like a joke, but it is a contest that's downright dirty. Coming up, see why this messy apartment, is that the messy apartment? Ugh, that is. Why that messy apartment may be winning $10,000.
Plus your complete forecast, the Fredericks Fact for a Thursday afternoon, and a huge live studio audience we'll introduce you to coming up next year on News 3 at noon, where news comes first.
It's an April Fool's Day celebration you won't soon forget. Channel 3's Outlaw Pregame Festival, Sunday, April 1st. It's more than a tailgate party. We'll have the Outlaw Band, classic cars, food, fun, and a whole lot more. Meet your favorite News 3 anchors at the Channel 3 booth. Bring your family to XFL history at the Outlaw Pregame Festival, April Fool's Day, this Sunday, from 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. at Sam Boyd Stadium. Sponsored by Channel 3, Polo Towers, Singular Wireless, and the City of Las Vegas Leisure Services. And that's no joke.
How far would you go to win a contest? Well, look at this. An Indiana University senior may actually win $10,000 for this disgustingly messy apartment. Matt Robinson is his name, and he's one of 3 finalists in a contest to find the nation's messiest college apartment. He says he doesn't care about the money. It's just his chance at fame. Interesting. You can vote on the online competition at apartments.com. .com. The voting ends tomorrow. Apartments.com.
You saw that mold experiment. I mean, maybe he's a science major or biology major or something. That's the only way.
That kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. I'm sorry.
He'll need that $10,000 to buy a date because I don't think he'll be bringing anyone back to his apartment for quite some time. That was, well, that was college for you.
Yeah, well,
little glimpse.
You know, on to something better and more beautiful.
The weather.
And John.
Oh, thank you. And thanks for the nice story leading into weather. There you go.
It's Allison's fault.
Getting paid for being a slob. There you go. Look at that. Those people out there policing the grounds out by the Luxor, and things looking wonderful from our Mandalay Bay cam. And outside right now, it is 79 degrees out at McCarran. That is already 7 degrees above our normal afternoon high of 72, 16% humidity. Winds variable at 6, barometer falling at 29.79. But you can see the palm fronds blowing around out there in the wind. So we know that it is locally breezy out there, and if you've popped your head outside, you know that as well. Before we take a world view and then a local view, we do want to introduce you to just a whole slew of 4th graders from St. Anne's School. And it's so cool that you all called each other this morning and said, what are you going to wear? What are you going to wear? What are you going to wear? And you all coordinated your outfits. Give yourselves a big round of applause. And I understand that we have a couple of birthday people in the group. By the way, you're on that camera over there. Who's the birthday kids? Ray, okay, happy birthday. Very good. And you're how old today? 10. Well, give them a big round of applause. Here for them. All right. There you go. Okay.
Wave.
Yeah, all right. And when you get to be my age, you cry when they come around. All right. Let's talk about, oh my goodness, our wonderful producer just said I have about a minute and a half to talk about a whole bunch of stuff and then give folks a chance to win. Silence is golden, so let's get rich. They said that to me when I was your age. 58, it wasn't funny then either. 52 up on the mountain, 82 over the hump in Pahrumps, 81 Henderson, 79 right now in Nellis. We'll top out officially, probably around 82 degrees. Those winds going to be brisk in the outlying areas and even maybe in the central part of the valley, 15 to 25 plus. It now looks like it's just going to be a toss-up between today and tomorrow, what's going to be the breeziest day of the week. Good air quality, though, almost all good, just a couple of moderate readings of dust, but that's okay. We can handle it. 84 yesterday, 72 is a normal, 72 is just a dream. It's not going to happen anytime soon. If you'd like your daily allergy report pollen count, you can click onto our website, kvbc.com. We have a link that takes you right there to pollen.com. Okay. We'll quickly show you there has been some severe weather down in the southeastern part of the country. For us, we get these frontal systems that move through, and then big areas of high pressure build in behind it. The difference between the two systems gives us the wind. But all the trouble is down in central and southern Florida, and you can see from the computer data right there, it says that's where all the rain should be. And occasionally computers are absolutely dead on, and that's what's happening. We've had some severe thunderstorms in central and northern Florida in the last several hours. Right now, we actually do have a severe thunderstorm watch posted for most of northern Florida at this time, and you can see the reds indicating very strong thunderstorms and this cluster of moisture just continuing to hammer down in the southeast. And most of the moisture as you get further up in the mid and the northern Atlantic, not nearly as strong in terms of severity, but still some light to moderate rain as far north as D.C. and even up in the northeast. Not much going on out in the southwest. Just about out of time, so we'll give you your travel forecast and then give you a chance to win. It is Food Thursday, and no wonder Kimiko's here.
Hey,
I'm just kidding. Come on, stop
terrible.
it. All right. Beautiful to the southwest, rainy across much of the east, northeast, no problem today. Quickly, we go with this hour's edition of the Fredericks Fact. Blue Iguana is here from Circus Circus. They're going to show us some wonderful food in just a moment. And also, I'm going to throw in a couple of tickets to see Lori Morgan, country superstar, over at the Orleans on Sunday. Metal part of a lamp that surrounds the bulb and supports the shade is called the blank. Don't yell it out if you know it, kids. Metal part of the lamp that surrounds the bulb and supports the shade is called the blank. Call us 657-3425 with your first correct answer. You and a guest going to eat fine dining at Blue Iguana over at Circus, and we'll toss in 2 tickets to see Lori Morgan on Sunday over at the Orleans. Chera, Scott?
All right.
Thank you, John.
Common treatment for cancer these days, chemotherapy.
But chemotherapy kills not only cancer cells, but healthy cells as well. Still ahead, learn about a new colon cancer treatment with no side effects. That's right here on News 3, where news comes first. Colon cancer is the second leading cancer killer. Today, doctors have good news. They have developed a new drug to battle colon cancer. The pill, called anti-VEGF, shrinks the tumors by starving them.
If you can stop blood vessels from growing into tumors, the tumors will stop growing.
The standard treatment for colon cancer is chemotherapy, but the new experimental treatment of anti-VEGF helps blood vessels grow and feed those tumors without poisoning the body. But remember, doctors say the key to stopping colon and other cancers is early detection.
You wish you were in better shape but can't seem to find the time because of a busy work and home life. Well, Dr. Dina Dell reports on one Silicon Valley company's success integrating health and fitness into the workplace, where both the bottom line and the waistline benefit.
Gil Morocco has a stressful job, but you'd never know it.
I never take 6 days. I have more energy. I feel good every morning I get up.
Morocco's secret? His workplace.
Because of the emphasis on work-life balance that we have at Interwoven, it's easier for people to lead a healthy, balanced lifestyle, to eat a healthy diet when there's healthy snacks on the premises. The training programs for the athletic events, people pursuing goals or wanting to lose weight, they have resources at their disposal at work.
When work can be a component of a healthy lifestyle rather than a barrier, employees are more likely to succeed. And with our lives becoming more desk-bound, being able to exercise and have healthy food at work can go a long way in lowering stress, blood pressure, and cholesterol. Not only do the employees benefit, so do the companies.
We have, on average, about 30% fewer sick days taken when compared with comparable companies. I think we have a very healthy culture as a result of, in part, this work-life balance focus. At the end of the day, that's what gets us the productivity and the sustainability of the company's top-line growth and corporate objectives.
And at the end of the day, it also gives employees a lesson they can take home with them.
This is what I'm going to do the rest of my life. It's not something short-term. It's going to be a long-term.
I'm Dr. Dina Dell.
Sounds good. Looking to start a program in your company or maybe need some ammunition to bring to your boss? Check out our website, kvbc.com, and click on the Health Central logo for more information.
Still so much more news to come in the next half hour of News 3 at noon. It's supposed to get you from one side of the valley to the other, but could the Beltway be becoming a death trap? The police are taking a stand, and we'll show you how.
For the first time, Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh is publicly and explicitly admitting the crime. We'll tell you more about that later.
Plus, the Blue Iguana is here for our Restaurant of the Week. Coming up, join us for a Mexican fiesta. That's still ahead in the next half hour of News 3 at noon, where news comes first.
They're coming up here at 70 miles an hour and trying to stop at a light in 100 feet's time, and you just can't do it. It's physically impossible.
Is the Beltway becoming a death trap for motorists? Police say no way, and they plan to prove it.
This is News 3 at noon with Sue Manteris and Scott Haws.
Welcome back, everyone. Chera Kimiko sitting in for Sue this afternoon. It's supposed to make drive time faster and help ease up all of the congestion on 95 and I-15, but it's also causing drivers to speed.
The Beltway is halfway done, but it's already known for its deadly wrecks. Since 1999, there have been 6 fatal accidents. I spent the morning out near the Beltway on Durango, and I saw the troopers out there in full force, making sure you slow down. If you don't, you can bet you will get slapped with a hefty fine. Fast cars, fast bikes, but now it's fat chance you'll get away with speeding on the Beltway.
My name is Mike Wilter, the Highway Patrol, and you're being stopped for speeding, sir.
The speed limit on 215 is between 25 and 55.
It's 45 through here, not 65.
A
But troopers say cars like this one that was pulled over are usually going 10 to 20 miles over the speed limit.
He was 22 miles an hour over the speed limit, and he got a $190 speeding citation.
2 of her friends already got killed.
High speeds, however, are not unusual for Grace Leone.
Everyone thinks it's a freeway, and it's not.
She lives just down the street. This past Sunday, her co-worker was killed when another car ran a red light on Durango in the Beltway.
And her name was Lee, and she had a friend, her son with her also, and they were both killed. The son's in the hospital.
NHP and Leone say it's not the Beltway causing the accidents, it's people not paying attention to the lights and signs.
I'm just getting ready to get on my motorcycle because I just stopped somebody and you're coming through at 66, 65. What's up?
Late.
You're late?
And I'm the boss.
Where are you late for? You're the boss.
But the boss now is the NHP, hoping their presence will slow you down. For Leone, she just hopes you think about this.
Pause at the lights, even though it's green, because you don't know what's coming through the Beltway.
There are at least 6 troopers that will be traveling on the Beltway today and in the coming days. The average number of tickets written are between 20 and 30, and that's every 3 hours. The average cost is about $140.
Pretty hefty. Better slow down, and as police here in the Valley are working to make our streets and highways safer, new statistics are out for roadways around the country, and police blame motorcycles for an increase in the number of deadly accidents. Take a look. Federal estimates show motorcycle deaths are up 27% in the 3-year period. Besides deadly motorcycle accidents, there was an increase in deaths of teen drivers. Alcohol-related deaths also went up slightly, but remained at 38% of total traffic deaths, which is an all-time low. Also, SUV rollover deaths increased almost 3%. On the positive side, there were drops in the numbers of deaths of children under 5, pedestrians, and people involved in crashes with large trucks.
It is supposed to be that your home is your castle, but for some people living in North Las Vegas, their homes could make you literally sick. Now, it looks like they may finally be getting some clean results. One of the residents at the Buena Vista Springs apartments called News 3 with the complaint. That was on Tuesday. She said units there are full of fungus and mold, and it is making people sick. Right there is what you see as a mushroom. She says the landlord won't fix the problem. So yesterday, inspectors arrived on the property and met with the manager. Now, spring cleaning and remodeling is on the way.
Managers in the past who didn't address these problems that they should have been addressed. Fortunately, I'm not one of those types of managers. Again, I intend to deal with this problem, so these residents can have the type of unit that they deserve to live in.
The manager says it will take some time to fix all of the problems. He's asking those residents to be patient. Creative Choice Homes owns the property out of West Palm Beach, Florida, and receives money from the government, which is supposed to help low-income families with clean housing. That company has not returned our phone calls.
Finally, a confession from Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh, but one chilling admission involves the children killed in the bombing. Timothy McVeigh says he alone blew up the Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City because he wanted to avenge the deaths federal agents caused at Ruby Ridge and Waco. The confession is in the book American Terrorist, Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City Bombing, the work of reporters Lou Michael and Dan Herbeck, who worked for the Buffalo News. In it, McVeigh goes on to say, quote, "I understand what they felt in Oklahoma City. I have no sympathy for them." The bombing killed 168 people, injured 500 others, and what may be McVeigh's most chilling admission, he refers to the 19 children killed in the blast as collateral damage. However, he told the reporters, quote, "If I had known there was an entire daycare center, it might have given me cause to switch targets." He said he chose the Murrah building because it would result in many casualties. It had a lot of glass that would increase the damage like an eggshell. McVeigh is quoted as saying, "The truth is, I blew up the Murrah building. And isn't it kind of scary that one man could weep this kind of hell?" The book is scheduled for release sometime next month, while McVeigh is scheduled for execution May 16th.
Spring allergy season is in full bloom, but a new study finds those sniffles and sneezes may not be allergies after all. Researchers in Ohio studied nearly 250 people who had been diagnosed with allergies and were taking prescription antihistamines. Blood tests revealed only 35% of the group showed true allergic reactions. That means almost half of those patients were taking the wrong medicine. It's often hard for doctors and patients to tell the difference between an allergy and other respiratory problems such as a cold, but researchers say new allergy blood tests offer a simple way to make an accurate diagnosis.
It's a refresher course in stocks. So how well do you know Wall Street talk? Coming up, we will take an in-depth look.
Also, we'll take a look at an area of the world behind the headlines. That's still ahead, and we'll go on a trip to the troubled Middle East. That's all coming up on News 3, where news comes first.
The XFL Outlaw Lounge pregame show. It's your look inside the XFL.
It's been the most fun I've had playing football for quite a few years.
News 3's Mitch Roberts brings you the plays that make you scream. The interviews that give you insight.
We know our defensive scheme.
And the women who make you want to watch.
More of the Outlaw Lounge.
Outlaw Down with the Outlaw Band. And watch the XFL Outlaw Lounge this Saturday at 4:30 right before the game, only on Channel 3.
Welcome back. Let's be honest, after just looking at some of those numbers, do you really understand the stock market language? Like, what is the difference between a bear and bull market, or what is the S&P 500? With all of the recent woes on Wall Street, we hit the streets to see how much locals really know about stocks. We gave a 9-question multiple choice test to about 20 people. This was over at Boulevard Mall. Some were college graduates. Others admitted they had no interest or investments in the stock market. Some people did better than they expected. Others were a little surprised at the results.
Yeah, I'd like to keep this so I can go over some of these and I check the right answers, and that will help educate me for the next time. But thank God my investment people handle my investments, okay?
So you can test your knowledge. To do that, just go right to our website where the test is posted. That's at kvbc.com.
It may not sound like a fun vacation, but how about the Middle East? Travel to the Middle East has suffered in recent months because of continuing tensions in the region. So, is it safe to go? Jason Howe has the answers.
The Middle East has hosted tourists for at least 3,000 years. If you like to travel, it's a must-see.
This is just unbelievable. It's thousands and thousands of years old. It really makes you think.
But so do more modern images of the Middle East. War, bus bombings in Israel, a massacre of tourists at Luxor, Egypt in 1997. The number of visitors to Israel plummeted last fall after violence in the West Bank prompted a U.S. State Department advisory. Now Israel is trying to lure tourists back.
There is a travel advisory, but at the same time, look at the numbers. Last year we had 3 million people visiting Israel. No one was injured.
Even so, that fell far short of the 4 million visitors expected last year. Still, security in Israel has always been tight, and in Egypt too since the 1997 massacre.
As you go into the tourist sites, they have people looking at your bags, so it's a little inconvenience, but it really makes you feel a lot safer.
Now, that's not to say that any travel is entirely risk-free. Any look at a newspaper will show you that. But when some travelers read the headlines, they see opportunity.
Tourism is down, and I like to go to places that there's not too many tourists.
So as things heated up, Tom Soroso headed out for a tour of Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria.
I was always treated really, really well, and was not at all bothered by anybody.
It's ultimately an individual decision, and should be an informed decision, but nonetheless everyone has to decide what their own comfort zone is.
And no doubt the Mideast will remain a must-see next year and 1,000 years from now. Reporting on Mideast tourism, I'm Jason Howe.
Violence in Israel is generally limited to the Palestinian territories, though that's also where you'll find Bethlehem and other holy sites.
Hold on to that extra pocket change in your wallet or purse. It may be worth more than you think.
Still ahead, find out how you can tell the difference of rare coins or one that's just worth face value.
Hold the phone calls. We have a winner for the Fredericks Fact. We'll have that, your weekend outlook, and maybe a plan for part of your weekend, all coming up next year on News 3 at noon. Where news comes first.
You're watching Southern Nevada's #1 choice for news. This is News 3 at noon.
Welcome back, everyone. There could be a pleasant surprise waiting in your pocket, purse, or even cookie jar. Just a few cents worth of change could add up to thousands of dollars. You just need to know what to look for.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. Ever think about how much money has quite literally slipped through your fingers?
This is a 50 states quarter right here.
50 states quarters are very popular, and this is worth $1 million in sentimental value.
Scott Travers is the author of over a dozen coin books. He says some of us have tossed away coins worth thousands because we didn't know what to look for.
Whether their coin is a 1943 copper cent and worth anywhere from $10,000 to $115,000, or whether, and more likely, it's a 1943 steel cent and worth anywhere from 10 cents to $10.
Or a fairly old coin.
This is a 1909 VDB Lincoln cent. The S stands for San Francisco, where the coin was manufactured, and the VDB stands for the designer's initials, Victor David Brenner. The designer's initials were removed in 1909 during the year of issue.
But Travers says if you limit your looking to the rare or old, you could be passing over some great opportunities. There are many coins worth plenty.
This is a year 2000 Sacagawea dollar.
Okay.
And that coin has been struck 2 times. It's a double struck coin. And that's worth about $2,000.
Double struck means it was stamped twice. It gives letters almost a shadow effect, kind of like a paper hid twice with a rubber stamp. And other mint mistakes are just as valuable.
This is a 50 states quarter, and it's referred to as a capped die variety because it literally served as a cap for the die. And it has a value of approximately $1,250.
Not bad. If you do locate a valuable coin, start handling it carefully by the edges. Even slight marks can reduce the value. And I kind of inspected some of the change in my pocket. 2 quarters in my pocket, and I found out these 2 quarters are worth
50 cents.
50 cents.
Exactly right.
There you go.
That's about
well,
it.
And your penny.
That's not true. You could make a phone call from that. You could parlay that into millions.
There you go. That's one way to look at it.
Checking my penny, and it's not a 1909 SVDB.
Bummer.
That was always the thing we were looking for as kids, is that 1909 SVDB.
That was your retirement check if that was the right penny.
And I don't understand. My relative worth is not gonna. I've been double struck several times. All right. Here we go. Put up those numbers. We're going to get you all the way through the answer to the Fredericks fact and more. 79 degrees, 16% humidity, winds variable at 6. Now you can see, even from our Rio can. Now keep in mind, this is merely a snapshot. It happens in just a moment of time out at McCarran. It's an automated system that happens right at the top of the hour. So at that moment, there was just a variable breeze at 6. We know that the winds are swirling around out there, and they're going to continue to do so. Let's go ahead and show up your forecast if we can. We'll probably top out in the low 80s. We could hit our high as we did yesterday of 84, but I think 81, 83, 84 is a good number, so we'll call it 82. But those northwest winds at times still going to be brisk. Again, we're going to have to deal with at least today, tomorrow, maybe lingering into early Saturday, but most of the weekend, just gorgeous. Air quality good. High counts of mulberry tree pollen. There you see yesterday 84 degrees. Forget about the normal of 72. And if you just now join us, do want to remind you, you can get a direct link to your daily allergy report, pollen.com. We have a link to it from in our website, kvbc.com. The jet stream, the upper level wind pattern, is actually taking a dip, and it's diving now right over the top of us. It's not really bringing much in the way of cooler air. We've got a few embedded little weak systems moving through, and as they come through, behind them we get those strong winds. And all it is a difference in pressure at the surface, or pressure gradient that we see, and that's the result is wind. So it's going to hang around on and off for the next 24 to 36 hours, and then things should calm down. 62 LA, 57 Flagstaff, 70 degrees right now in St. George. The big cool down I expect at the beginning of the week really is never materialized and won't. We might shave a couple degrees off the afternoon high tomorrow, and then that's about it. Don't forget, this is your last week to ski up at the Las Vegas Ski and Snowboard Resort. Going to be windy up on the hill, but still beautiful. Locally breezy. You might get some chop down along the river and out on the lake today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s from Lake Mead to Laughlin. 82 today with those afternoon breezes really picking up. 79 still locally breezy tomorrow. Probably not quite as windy as I initially expected. 81, maybe some early morning breezes on Saturday, but beautiful. And 86 degrees on Sunday. Speaking of Saturday, My son and I would like to invite you to a wonderful event, and that's coming up on Saturday, the second annual Mix 94.1. It's called Pet-A-Palooza, named after a concert.
Pathetic there. Poor little thing.
Oh, he's fine. It's happening Saturday at Cragen Park from 11 to 4. Free admission. You can bring your dog, as long as Pooch is friendly, and just make sure that they're on a leash. We hope to see you there. Metal part of a lamp that surrounds the bulb and supports the shade is called a harp. Yes, absolutely. It's called a harp. And congratulations to Carol Grant. She knew that. She's got dinner for 2 at Blue Iguana. They're here in our studio. You're going to meet them in just a moment. And we're also going to see her, send her to see country superstar Lori Morgan. She's in concert Sunday over at the Orleans.
Very cool.
All right, Johnny. Thank you very much. Speaking of Blue Iguana, how about some good home cooking Mexican style?
We're having a Mexican fiesta for this week's Restaurant of the Week. Coming up, we are talking tacos, burritos, fajitas. Stay here on News 3 at noon, where news comes first. Coming up today on First News 3 at 4, you may be able to eat those nuts after all. Seems researchers have uncovered what may be the culprit behind many food allergies. Plus, ever pull up to the drive-through window of a fast food place and you discover that you don't have any money on you? Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. I hear you. It's embarrassing. Well, in the future, that will be a problem no more. We'll tell you why today on First News 3 at 4. Well, today we have a special treat on News 3 at noon. We're heading south of the border. How does traditional Mexican cuisine and famous margaritas in a festive atmosphere sound? Scott has some special guests for this week's Restaurant of the Week. Scott?
Thank you very much. And of course, from forget the drive-through. Just head over to Circus Circus Blue Iguana there at Circus Circus on the promenade level. Is that correct? Jan Wolf, she is the restaurant manager, and Fernando Hermosillo, chef at the Blue Iguana. Before we get into this feast, and we have a lot of food here, we want to give away dinner for 2 at the Blue Iguana. Caller number.
Circus Circus.
Which number do you want them to be? Caller number what?
They can get a hold of me however.
Well, you can just pick caller number 345. We're going to take the call right now. 5, 6, take a pick.
3.
Caller number 3. See, she's right in line. Caller number 3, 657-3425. This is dinner for 2 at Blue Iguana, and John gave away just a few moments ago dinner for 2 as well, and you'll enjoy that. Now let's talk a little bit about Blue Iguana. Jen, talk about the hours so people know when and where.
Our hours are Monday through Thursday is, our bar opens at 3, our restaurant opens at 5, and we're till 10:30. On the weekends, we stay open a little later. The weekends, midnight.
Or later.
Later, whenever we're done drinking our tequila.
Now, Jan let us in on a little secret here. If you go to Blue Iguana and you say Jan Wolf, you get a free margarita. Is that right?
Come and see me.
That's right.
That's right.
That's all you have to do.
That's all you got to do. Come
might be worth the trip down there just for that.
It's true.
And then the food is something we need to talk about. And Fernando, talk a little bit, darling, Fernando, darling, let me tell you something. It's a little marvelous.
Oh, this is delicious.
Delicious.
Talk a little bit about the cuisine. Obviously, this is authentic Mexican food.
This is Mexican traditional from Mexico, you know, the bolsa. And this is the fajitas, you know, special fajitas every night. And I got the salsas.
Go through the salsas. Go through each one of these
salsas. This is a mild salsa. This is the pico de gallo. This is the mild, the green one. This is a tropical fruit. This is the hot one.
That's the hot one.
That's the hot one.
Okay. Very good.
Okay. Okay.
And I got the sample right here.
Now that's the sample of some of the appetizers?
This is the appetizers, what I got right now. This is the simple appetizer. This is barbecue ribs, chicken wings. This is, they call them salt and poppers. Poppers and
this caught my eye over here, and I don't know whether our overhead camera can see this, but this
is the crepas, the dessert. This is the dessert for crepas. He make them with butter, bananas, and banana liquor. He make them delicious.
I'll find out in just a minute how delicious it is. I guarantee you. What's that?
Imported chocolate.
Imported chocolates. The menu is inspired, obviously, south of the border. Does it change very often, or do you kind of keep the staples in the menu and then occasional specials?
It's every night I'm making different specials for the border, from Mexico, anywhere.
We went to Mexico, you know, got the restaurant, brought it out.
Now tell a little bit about the history, seriously, about the history of Blue Iguana and how it came about.
That was Andy Enrico. He's our food and beverage director, and he put it all together, created it, and gave it a name, and we're here to stay.
And in business how long?
We opened,
a year now.
Yeah, we just hit a year on the 20th.
And that's one of the things, of course, a lot of restaurants inside the hotel casinos and a lot of competition, but because some of these resorts are so massive, some of these restaurants do get kind of lost in the shuffle. So again, we want to remind you, Blue Iguana is on the promenade level at Circus.
It is so good, by the way.
And Chera, you've been there?
My favorite
You live
restaurant,
there?
truly by, it is my favorite restaurant.
Chera Kimiko, if you would like to meet Chera, just say Chera Kimiko and maybe they'll give you a free margarita as well.
I'll do it.
No guarantee, but maybe you'll run into Chera there, and then Jan Wolf, of course, and Fernando. Nancy Heiliger. Nancy was our third caller, and Nancy will be going to the Blue Iguana to check it out. Dinner for two there as well. And anything special coming up at Blue Iguana?
Yeah, and I will start making specials. Maybe next week we'll start making Mexican specials.
We do have large parties, 30 people. We take large parties.
Just call
weddings, receptions.
And how much time do people need to call ahead? Because again, that's something that a lot of restaurants like to do, but timing is an issue.
A couple days. I mean, we come in the summertime, week, it's nice, but I mean, set it up, take care of you.
You can wait at the bar and drink lots of margaritas.
Margaritas.
Just wait at the bar. Wait at the bar. Your favorite dish. Let's get your favorite dish.
Fish tacos.
Veg tacos?
Fish tacos.
Fish tacos.
They're awesome.
Your favorite dish?
Fajitas.
The fajitas?
Yes, sir.
And my favorite dish so far is right here. You knew I was going to go for this.
Yeah.
And Chera, well, let's get Chera's favorite dish too.
It's the fajitas by far.
Really?
Honestly, and the salsa with the fruit salsa.
Okay. There you go. You have to go now and decide. What?
Don't forget the fried ice
cream.
Fried
ice cream. There's plenty to choose from. Blue Iguana Circus. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.